What's going on, guys? YFox1225 here with another video, and today we're going to be talking about The Black Death, which is a really cool survival MMO coming out pretty soon for early access on Steam. And I think survival MMOs, and especially like post-apocalyptic games like that, and early access survival MMOs is such an overdone genre, especially on Steam. There's so many of them, and they're all so generic, but this one actually looks pretty cool and pretty unique, which makes me a little excited. So this one takes place in an open world version of Western Europe during the time of the Black Plague. So we're talking about medieval times. I don't know the exact time frame, but back, in the Renaissance age, something like that. And it takes place, like I said, in Western Europe with an open world, so you can run around. And it is an MMO, so there are lots of other players in the world that you can interact with, play with, or fight against. So let's just get into some of the details about the game. So the base of the game is survival. This isn't like a questing game or anything like that. You are trying to survive just like something like DayZ or Rust. So you will have hunger, but you can, fight that hunger by planting crops, hunting animals, buying food. The world is really interactive, and there's a lot to do, it looks like. On top of the hunger system is also going to be a plague system. Like I said, the game takes place during the Black Plague, or the Black Death, or whatever you want to call it. So you're going to have to avoid certain areas and try not to get the plague, because, obviously that would be bad, and you're probably going to die. I'm not sure quite how the system works, but I'm sure it'll be a pretty advanced and not just random. Pretty excited for that, and that's going to be a big part of the game. Like I said, it's not a game that focuses on combat. It kind of makes you feel small, which you should at this time in history, and you're trying to survive, but there will be combat, and we'll talk about that later. There's also going to be trading, so you can trade with other players and NPCs. There's going to be crafting, so you can craft stuff. There's whole classes that revolve around crafting weapons and armor, so hopefully it's pretty in-depth and fleshed out. There's going to be a crime system, which is awesome. Really excited for that. So you can steal stuff if you can't afford it. And there's also going to be punishment. In the trailer, we saw someone locked up. And there are guards, so hopefully there's jails and, all that kind of stuff you'd expect in like a game like The Elder Scrolls. It would be really cool to see that come to the MMO. So fingers crossed that there's jails in the game. Moving into the combat a little bit and the characters, there's 10 classes overall, which is huge for an MMO, but these aren't classes like you think of in like World of Warcraft or ESO. They're a little different because, like I said, this game isn't focused on questing or grinding. It's focused on survival, so all the classes do different things to help you survive. For example, the peasant is really good at gathering materials and planting and farming, where the blacksmith is more crafting orientated, and then the knight is more about survivability and combat. There's also classes like the minstrel. We don't have all of them listed, but they sound pretty, time oriented and historically accurate, but also some pretty cool things. It'd be really cool to play as a bard or something like that. Different things to try out, and I think it'd be a whole different version of the game depending on what class you pick. So it gives you a reason to make more characters and come back and play. The combat, from what we've seen, will be really dangerous and take some skill, and what they've said, it'll be really oriented on pairing, stuff you expect in sword-based combat, but I'm guessing it'll be realistic damage, so if you're hit once with a sword, you'll probably die. And I think a lot of survival game fans will be a fan of that. This game is pretty cool. It's coming out pretty soon. It's going to be released on March 15th for early access, so keep in mind that means the early access is not a complete, version at all. It's going to be like an alpha or beta. The game is supposed to be in early access for about 8 to 12 months, which isn't too bad because there are some games that stays in early access forever, and I really don't like that. But at the end of those 12 months, there will be a price increase. So you want to get in a little early, try out the beta, and then maybe get a little bit of a deal on the game. You can go do that on March 15th on Steam. I'm really excited for this game, guys. It hit me by surprise, so stay tuned on the channel for more news and stuff on the game, because I'll definitely be covering it and buying it when it comes out. Thank you guys as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.